The media has been enthralled by a certain story, and they're very excited about it. They're having a field day. Very, very excited about this. The story, as reported in the Daily Mail, repeated by every corporate media outlet, and I'll read you what Daily Mail reports, and then every corporate media outlet has put out a report just like this, which is phrased almost exactly the same way, like a cut and paste job. So here it is. One of the funders of the film Sound of Freedom has been arrested for kidnapping a child, according to court records. Fabian Marta, 51, was one of thousands of donors who gave funds for the production of the film based on former Department of Homeland Security agent Tim Ballard's efforts against child trafficking. The St. Louis, Missouri resident was charged with felony child kidnapping last month. The Sound of Freedom movie tackles a very tough subject and took extraordinary effort to bring it to movie theaters. That's from Marta, who wrote that on Facebook in a now deleted post, as reported by Newsweek. I'm proud to have been a small part of it. If you see the movie, look for Fabian Marta and family at the very end of the credits. And sure enough, Fabian Marta is in the credits of the film. In some cases, that's the way it's been phrased in the headlines. There have been headlines saying, funder of Sound of Freedom, charged with child trafficking, child kidnapping. And then there are other headlines that say, man who appears in credits of Sound of Freedom charged with child kidnapping. He could face 10 years in prison. Now, so that's the headline. And again, the media is very excited about this. They're getting these reports out everywhere. And if you look at the leftists on social media, they're gloating about it. They're happy about it. They're very happy that this happened. They're very happy about the story. This is a story allegedly about a child who was kidnapped, and the left cannot contain their glee. They can't even pretend to contain it. They're excited. Here's the part they don't highlight. First of all, this film had 6,000 people who funded it, with an average of $500 each. So Fabian Marta probably, I don't think we know the exact amount that he gave, but everyone, if he's around the average, then he gave $500 or so. Or that's all he would have needed to give to count as a funder. So that is the big time funder, someone who gave $500 to the film. The second point is that according to follow-up reports on this story, Fabian Marta is a landlord who provided lodging to a woman and her child, and that woman is involved in a custody dispute. And that's the story. Now, what are the details from there? Did Marta actually do anything wrong? Was he involved in some kind of conspiracy? What are the details with the child and the custody dispute and who's in the right and who's in the wrong? I have no idea. I don't have the slightest idea. I don't know anything else. And I don't think the media knows anything else. And, it's a very complicated situation. But this is, we know at least, some kind of obscure custody type dispute between a woman, a child, a father, presumably, and a landlord. And one of the people involved in this dispute gave a few $100 to a film. In other words, there's no story here. It's clear that the left has given up their morals and any common sense. There's no better time than to build a daily habit of prayer and meditation. Building a habit of prayer can help you cultivate an attitude of gratitude. Focusing on what you're thankful for can increase positive emotions and improve overall well-being. Hallow is the #1 Christian prayer app in the U.S. It's helped me maintain a daily prayer routine. It can help you do the same. Download the app for free at hallow.com/Matt Walsh. You can set prayer reminders and track your progress along the way. Not sure where to start? Well, check out Father Mike Schmitz's Bible in a Year, available on the Hallow app for brief daily readings and reflections, or pray alongside Mark Wahlberg, Jim Caviezel, and even some world-class athletes. With Hallow, you can customize a personal prayer plan that works for you. Listen wherever you are with downloadable offline sessions. Using Hallow to connect with others who share your beliefs and values can provide a sense of belonging, support, and foster a sense of community as well. Ultimately, we'll learn how we can become better individuals in spite of today's broken world as we strive to become more like Christ in our daily lives through prayer, fasting, and giving. Download Hallow at hallow.com/Matt Walsh to get an exclusive 3 months free. That's 3 months absolutely free at hallow.com/Matt Walsh. The fact that a guy is a landlord and he's involved in this dispute and there's a custody dispute and he gave $500 to Sound of Freedom a few years ago, that's not a story. That's not anything. Okay, you would hear that if you didn't have the media's framing of it, and you hear that and someone tells you that. It's like imagine someone just ran into your living room and you had no reference, no frame of reference. And they just told you this story. Guess what? Listen to this. You're not going to believe it. What's going on? So there's a guy who's a landlord for a woman who has a child, and they're in a custody dispute, and he's just been arrested for kidnapping because he's involved, and he gave $500 to a movie that deals with child trafficking, and he that's the story. Can you believe it? If you heard that, you say, what? Okay. What's the relevance of that? Why is this headline news? Why are you so excited about it? It's not a story at all. But the left is very excited about it because they see it as something that somehow discredits the movie. Which, of course, even if like the worst version of this story was true, when you read the headlines, you're supposed to imagine in your head that Fabian Marta is, when you hear investor or funder of film, you're imagining like this millionaire who gave millions of dollars to make the film. And when you hear that he's involved in kidnapping, you are supposed to imagine that he actually physically kidnapped a child and stole the child and all of that. And that's not apparently what actually happened. But even if it did, that wouldn't, the movie's based on a true story. It's an anti-child trafficking movie that doesn't discredit the point of the film. What, so does that mean that now child trafficking is good or something? So even in the worst version of the story, it doesn't discredit the film. And it especially doesn't, given what we actually know to be true about this story. But it does raise the question of why is the left so desperate? What do you have against this movie? Like, the movie didn't blame you for anything. It didn't. What do you have against it? Maybe you've seen the movie, and it's hard for me to believe that you even watched objectively, and or that you objectively analyzed it. But even if you think that the acting isn't very good, the script's not good, whatever. What do you have against it? Why are you so desperate to find some reason to discredit it? So really, this raises a lot of questions about you. Why would you see? Those of us who are normal, we can't even put ourselves in this mentality. There's a movie out there. It's an anti-child trafficking movie. It's a movie about kids being rescued from trafficking. Maybe you want to see the movie. Maybe you don't. Maybe it's the kind of subject matter that's too upsetting for you, so you don't want to watch the movie. I know there are many people that I've talked to said, well, I don't want to watch the movie because the subject matter is so upsetting. I just don't want to sit there and watch it. So maybe whatever your perspective is, but why would you hate the very idea of the movie? Why would you have some kind of agenda against the movie? It's a very good question. And all of the potential answers to those questions are not very flattering for the people on the left. It says a lot about them. And none of it is good. We could leave it at that. Hey, YouTube, thanks for listening to the show. If you'd like access to my full show with no ads, you should go to dailywire.com and use promo code Walsh to get 2 months free on all annual plans. See you there.